Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into something absolutely fascinating today. We got our hands on an exclusive behind-the-scenes playbook from a cutting-edge tech R&D team, dated June 12, 2026. And look, this isn't just theoretical guesswork or whiteboard fluff. This team is literally in the trenches right now deploying Generation 1, 2, and 3 AI agents. So, let's break down exactly how they're pulling this off, the roadblocks they're smashing into, and the honestly brilliant workarounds they've engineered to keep moving forward.
To make this easy to digest, we've distilled their massive internal report into a quick, 6-part roadmap. We'll be looking at the AI mindset shift, training Generation 3 agents, the synthetic data era, real-world AI applications, building infinite agent memory, and finally, the future of teamwork. Let's get right into how they're moving from just basic AI usage to full-blown advanced agent orchestration.
All right. Starting with part 1, the AI mindset shift, going from executor to director.
So right off the bat, the team noticed a massive, immediate contrast in their daily productivity. In the old way of doing things, team members were basically executors, right? They were spending months painstakingly writing and self-debugging this really rigid code. But the new way? By stepping back and orchestrating AI agents, those exact same grueling tasks drop from taking months to taking literally just minutes. But here's the catch. Making that leap requires getting over some deep internal hesitation.
Their big realization was simple, but honestly, it's pretty profound. You have to actively shift your brain from being a code executor to a director. You're no longer the one hammering the nails, you are the architect. To survive and thrive in this new workflow, you have to confidently prompt, guide, and manage the AI. It's basically a fundamental rewrite of how we define our value in the workplace.
Okay, moving on to section 2. Training Generation 3 agents using their 5-step formula.
Now, check out their key target metric for fine-tuning local AI. It's the number 1,000. What they do is extract highly specific questions from, these gold standard frontier models with the goal of generating exactly 1,000 incredibly detailed, absolutely pristine answers. And that golden dataset becomes the flawless training ground that teaches their local Generation 3 agents exactly how to behave.
To hit that 1,000 mark reliably without going crazy, they follow this relentless 5-step loop. First, define the purpose. Second, determine the logic. Third, break the whole thing down into microscopic steps. Fourth, test it for feedback. And finally, refactor and optimize. They're actually using this exact engine right now to build real software, like an interactive memory match game, and they are literally mapping out their agents' limitations at every single step of the way.
That brings us to section 3, the synthetic data era, and how they're solving the data drought.
So here's a huge roadblock the whole industry is facing. The internet is quite literally running dry of high-quality, human-created training data. We're tapping out. This team's solution? Synthetic data. This is high-quality, artificial data generated by AI specifically meant to train other AI. In fact, a team member named And developed this incredible internal method that effectively lets the AI learn from itself, totally bypassing the need for human-authored textbooks or code snippets. It's wild.
But wait, if AI is training AI, how on earth do you stop hallucinations and errors from just spiraling out of control? Well, they're currently experimenting with agents that have a built-in rewind capability. Basically, they can step back and auto-correct their own bad logic. Even cooler, though, they use a multi-agent council. Just imagine a virtual boardroom full of different AI personas, all arguing and cross-checking each other's data before anything actually gets approved. It's a brilliantly sophisticated safeguard, right?
All right, let's jump to section 4, real-world AI applications. This is where we move beyond the theory.
Their R&D stretches across a bunch of different industries, and obviously, each one brings its own unique headaches. For instance, when building that memory match game, they hit a hard 5,000-character limit that just kept cutting off the AI's code mid-sentence. Then there's their interior and design app, Decoration AI. That one struggles because some of the generated rooms come out looking a little too anime and lack that photorealism you really want. And their housekeeping app, Room Ready? Believe it or not, the biggest hurdle there isn't even the tech. It's figuring out how to dodge App Store fees and minimize the amount of times a user actually has to tap the screen.
And their ambitions go way further than just that. They're developing a web notebook that features dual AI personas, a male and a female host, to automatically crunch through and analyze meeting KPIs. They're also sketching out this massive, comprehensive super app meant to handle the entire customer experience. They're even testing AI that can take flat, 2D room models and automatically generate fully interactive 3D assets. So you see, they aren't just writing code anymore. They are actively trying to automate the entire creative pipeline.
Up next is Section 5, Building Infinite Agent Memory, also known as the knowledge distillation.
Here's the hard truth. An AI director is really only as good as its memory, and out-of-the-box AI forgets things way too fast. It's kind of like working with a goldfish. To fix this, the team is developing this conceptual system they call the memory garden to help their agents actually recall past interactions. And to make sure it works, they are rigorously benchmarking it against GBrain, which is an established system with nearly 100,000 stars online, just meticulously hunting down exactly where and why agent memory breaks down.
But guys, this leads us to a massive, glaring, operational vulnerability. Think about it. When corporate platforms start limiting your personal data access, or they just block your export buttons entirely, how do you prevent your AI from forgetting everything you've painstakingly taught it over the last month? Because if that cloud goes down, your agent's brain is completely wiped clean, gone.
So what's their solution? Honestly, it's incredibly brute force. First, they do continuous knowledge distillation, which means summarizing daily learnings to constantly feed back into the agent. Second, they're artificially pushing the context limit way up to about 15,000 words. And third, manual backups. Yeah, you heard that right. Ironically, when these highly advanced platforms lock them out, this cutting-edge tech team literally resorts to taking hundreds of manual screenshots just to rebuild the AI's memory. They simply refuse to lose their data, whatever it takes. Let's look at the final piece of the puzzle in Section 6, the future of teamwork and the daily learning loop.
To keep up this insane pace, they've formalized a strict daily loop of learning from mistakes for both their human staff and their AI agents. And they are moving entirely off the computer screen. They're currently testing Generation 3 wearable hardware. We're talking smart glasses and AI pins sourced straight from Taiwan to bring these agents out into the physical world. Add in parallel recording systems and upgrading the whole office to 5G just to kill latency, and you start to get a picture of just how incredibly fast these guys are adapting.
The sheer speed here is staggering. Remember, this strategy meeting was recorded on June 12th. By June 19th, literally just 1 week later, they mandated the launch of full parallel recording systems, and looming right over their heads is June 22nd, a critical deadline where they anticipate a major cloud service cutoff, forcing them to migrate platforms immediately or risk total disruption. It is an absolute race against the clock.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, we've just watched a real team battle, crazy character limits, dodge total memory wipes, and use synthetic data to force AI out of the cloud and into the real world. But the ultimate takeaway here isn't about the code at all. It's about the mindset. So I'll leave you with this one question. After seeing exactly what this R&D team is pulling off, are you ready to stop being an executor and start directing your own AI learning loop?